Alright, hello, and welcome back to my cancer story. Um, just before I get into it, I'd like to say that I'm really grateful for people that take the time out of their day to watch these videos, comment, like, and all that. I'm just very grateful for it. Say thank you for that. Now, back to the story. Last time we left off, we were just finished the surgery, and we were just finished the overnight stay in the matter. Now, today I'm going to be talking about that time, the gap time in between that surgery and when I started chemotherapy in Crumlin, because there's actually a lot to talk about. First thing I want to talk about is the struggle we had getting me into Crumlin, right? The Crumlin Children's Hospital is a children's hospital, obviously, and you needed to be, I think, under 16 or something like that. I don't really know properly because I just nearly left it all to my parents, but I think it was under 16, and I was just after turning 16, about 4 or 5 months 16, and so what we had to do is, it was a day trip up to Dublin anyway. First of all, I had to get my sperm frozen, which everyone has to do that when they're getting it, when they, yeah, no, that was before, obviously that was before, oh no, it wasn't, sorry, it was after the surgery, I think. I got that, and then, yeah, sorry, I got mixed up there. So, yeah, went up, I had to get that frozen first, that was the first thing I had to do. Just grand, easy enough, happy days. Going into Crumlin then, so I'm from Cork, it's about 2.5, it's about 2 hour train journey away from Cork, Dublin is, and it's about a 3 hour car journey. So we went up all the way up to Crumlin, and we went up to this oncologist who specialises in just cancer, and he basically, we went up to talk to him. He basically said, no, I can't let you in. But it was not on him. He literally couldn't do anything about it. It wasn't up to him. But he said if he could, he obviously would have us. But it's because I was 16. But it wasn't. He couldn't do anything about it. He was a nice man, to be fair to him. But so yeah, and we were obviously very angry. Like, why did we come all the way up here? Why did you send us all the way up here when you could have just rang us and told us this? So then it was kind of a fight to get me into Crumlin, because we would not settle for any other place. We didn't want to settle for any other place. We just couldn't. We just couldn't do that. Um. So, and that's kind of the end. I don't really know much more about it. It's all about my parents. They had to. The only thing I remember properly is the Minister for Health of Ireland. His name is Micheál Martin, I think his name. He was the former. And I remember just driving the car one day with my mum, and the phone rang, and I picked it up. He's like, "Hello, this is," and he goes, I was like, "Hello, who's this?" And he goes, "This is Micheál Martin." I was like, "What?" Really loudly on the phone. It was stupid. I was like, "Who? Why are you ringing?" And then get over to my mum. But eventually, I did get into Crumlin. I did, because there was a lot of fighting to do with my mum and dad, and obviously when Micheál Martin was on her side, then it was just a matter of time. But before I started chemotherapy, I had to, one other hospital we were thinking about was the Royal Marsden in London, and we knew it would be very hard to like go back and forth over there. But we said, look, if it has to be done, it has to be done, because that's a good place. That was another one, another hospital. Before all that, I had to get a PET scan. Now, I got a CT scan before, but a PET scan is a lot more in depth. It can see a lot smaller down in your body. So first of all, they do have a dye. They give you a dye, but it's a radioactive dye, really radioactive, and it's injected into you, so that it can see way deeper into your body. Because now we knew that the tumor was that the massive lump in me was a tumor. It could have spread for ages, because it was in there for about 4 or 5 months. So the PET scan was really active. So what I did was I went into this is the CUH. Now this is another hospital in Cork, the CUH, where I sat down. They injected me with it, and they said you have to leave it settle for an hour. So I remember lying in bed and just falling asleep and waking up again and going into the same kind of machine as a CT scan, just with the radioactive dye. Yeah, and then after that, then that would give you a clear image of what is there if it did spread. But I don't get the results for a while. So I got that, and I remember going, yeah, and then I remember going home, but they said you have to stay away from your family, basically. So they had to, besides my dad, obviously, my dad collected me, and then they literally just said, yeah, go up into your room, do not go near your brother and sister, you can't, because you're really radioactive at the moment. I said, okay, that's grand. All that was done grand. So back to the Royal Marsden. So the Royal Marsden was in London. It's only about a 50-minute flight, which is weird, considering that's a different country and Dublin is 2 hour train journey. This is a 50-minute flight over to London. Very easy, grand. I really don't like flying, but obviously I had a lot more on my mind, so I didn't mind. So yeah, we got to London, very sunny day, another beautiful day because it was during the summer. We went up to the Royal Marsden. I was looking around, and my parents were kind of saying, "Look, this might be. Maybe you should try and like recognize it because this could be where you might have to be staying for a while." And I said, "All right." Obviously, I didn't want that, but I said, "Okay, grand." So yeah, we were there for a while. I was looking around, seeing all the kids. It was just bald, the cancer kind of thing. I was like, "Oh God, that's awful!" Like, and so then we went up. This is the woman. She's like the best in the world with rhabdomyosarcoma in the world. And she said, "Look, it's weird. It was weird because of rhabdomyosarcoma. Of this is a child cancer. It's extremely, extremely rare. She said it's a 1 in a million from my age, 16, to be getting a rhabdomyosarcoma. This kind of rhabdomyosarcoma because it's usually in children of like 4 and 5." That's why we had to go to so many hospitals because we had to make sure. Like that's why we tried to get into the children's hospital. You might be asking why didn't she like just go to a normal one? No, it had to be a children's hospital because this is a child's cancer, and she specialised in this sort of thing now, exactly this. And we were there talking for a while, yeah, and the worst thing that could ever happen was she goes, "Look, I have to tell you, the PET scan came up clear. The cancer is after spreading into lymph nodes around your stomach." And obviously we were like, "Oh my God, like this is awful now." So, and then we just left. It was only a day journey. We left then after that. We just went home. And you had to understand that I still wasn't getting treatment, still getting zero treatment, and now I know that it's spreading, and my chances of surviving is getting worse and worse by the day. And that was pure, just extremely scary times. That was really, really scary times. For about, to be fair, it only lasted about a week and a half, because then we got the news that we got into Crumlin, which is brilliant. That was I was so happy knowing that, even though like I'm about to start an awful journey with cancer and chemo and all that, but I was happy to know that I got in finally. I just remember my dad telling me, "Here, look, we got in finally." He was jumping around, and we were like, "Oh, perfect, brilliant." So that was done. Crumlin was happening. They didn't have a bed for me yet, so we had to wait about a week. But in that time, I had to get my Hickman line in. The Hickman line it's a tube that comes out of it's attached to a valve in your heart. When you're getting chemotherapy and radiation, they have to inject you a lot with the chemo, obviously. So this would like stop them from pinching me all the time. We would just go and hook up to the tube and just work away. This was done in the Mercy. It was just an all day kind of thing. I remember the doctor at the start, he was trying to get my cannula in first anyway, and he kept pinching me about 3 or 4 times. Like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Like, he just couldn't get it right. Eventually he got it, and so yeah, we went down. I had already after 2 surgeries, so I knew what to expect. I was obviously, it's very weird for someone not to be nervous getting the surgery. I was obviously a bit nervous, but when it happened, same thing, knocked out. Yeah, and then I woke up in the place where they all woke up. I was taken back up to my room. My room was at the very, very top, very, very top of the Mercy Hospital, and it always is at the very top, because that's the cancer ward for kids. And I remember my auntie works there, so she was kind of there all day. She works in the cancer ward. She was there all day. It was nice having her there. So yeah, I woke up, the tube was there. It was just a tube, like you didn't really feel it unless you tugged at it or something like that. I had a bag. I had a little bag for it too, because the strap goes around you, and then the bag holds up the tube. It was weird having it at first, but after a while you kind of got used to it. So yeah, that was the end of that. Then the Hickman line was in, and the journey was about to begin. This was it now. This was it. This was what we've been waiting for. This was the chemo session in Crumlin, and I have an awful lot to say about Crumlin. I could probably talk about it for days, but I'm going to have to condense it down in the next episode of this. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. And next episode tomorrow we're gonna talk about Crumlin and my first experience with Crumlin. There's a lot to say about Crumlin. It's not a really nice place, but anyway, again, I'm very grateful that some people let you know you're watching it. I'm very grateful you take time of your day off that and comment and like. So I'm very thankful for that. Okay, so I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.